I'm Jennifer I from the Atlanta City Council, representing District 6 and this year's chair of the Finance Executive Committee.
Do you have a question, comment, or a suggestion related to the City of Atlanta's proposed fiscal year 2021 budget? The Atlanta City Council wants to hear from residents and stakeholders. Which services do you feel need to be prioritized in the fiscal year 2021 budget, which begins July 1st? The general fund budget is set at $673.4 million. There are several ways to reach out and submit your questions and comments to the Council today and during the virtual town hall meeting Tuesday, June 2nd at 6:15 p.m. Send your email to budgettalk@atlantaga.gov. If you'd prefer, you can submit a video of your question, as long as it's 15 seconds or less. For social media, tweet us at ATL Council using the hashtag ATLBudget. Submit your questions by messaging us on our Facebook page at ATL Council. To call in your questions, dial 404-546-1928, or you can text us at 404-548-2885.
We know how important the city budget is to you. We welcome your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you.
Can one girl in a small town, an architect in a major city, and a suburban high school coach shape the future of the United States? Yes, they can. Because every 10 years, the census gives us that power. You can shape your future by responding to the 2020 census. Where do we need new roads to make our lives easier? Where will new school programs help our children thrive? Where could a new health clinic benefit neighborhoods? The 2020 census will inform these decisions and shape how billions of dollars will be distributed to communities like yours each year. And in 2020, you can respond to the census online, by phone, or by mail. It's easy, safe, and important. Make sure you and everyone you know is counted. Now is the time for you to get involved. Your community needs you. Together, we can educate and excite, inspire, and make sure every voice is heard. Together, we can shape our future.
Hi, I'm Jennifer I from the Atlanta City Council, representing District 6 and this year's chair of the Finance Executive Committee.
Do you have a question, comment, or a suggestion related to the City of Atlanta's proposed fiscal year 2021 budget? The Atlanta City Council wants to hear from residents and stakeholders. Which services do you feel need to be prioritized in the fiscal year 2021 budget, which begins July 1st? The general fund budget is set at $673.4 million. There are several ways to reach out and submit your questions and comments to the Council today and during the virtual town hall meeting Tuesday, June 2nd at 6:15 p.m. Send your email to budgettalk@atlantaga.gov. If you'd prefer, you can submit a video of your question, as long as it's 15 seconds or less. For social media, tweet us at ATL Council using the hashtag ATLBudget. Submit your questions by messaging us on our Facebook page at ATL Council. To call in your questions, dial 404-546-1928, or you can text us at 404 548 2885.
We know how important the city budget is to you. We welcome your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you.
Can one girl in a small town, an architect in a major city, and a suburban high school coach shape the future of the United States? Yes, they can. Because every 10 years, the census gives us that power. You can shape your future by responding to the 2020 census. Where do we need new roads to make our lives easier? Where will new school programs help our children thrive? Where could a new health clinic benefit neighborhoods? The 2020 census will inform these decisions and shape how billions of dollars will be distributed to communities like yours each year. And in 2020, you can respond to the census online, by phone, or by mail. It's easy, safe, and important. Make sure you and everyone you know is counted. Now is the time for you to get involved. Your community needs you. Together, we can educate and excite, inspire and make sure every voice is heard. Together, we can shape our future.
Archibong. I am Chair of the City Utilities Committee. Today's date is May 26, 2020. I'm going to ask our analyst, Jared Evans, to do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Archibong.
Here.
Councilmember Boone.
Present.
Councilmember Hillis.
Here.
Councilmember Matsakite.
Here.
Councilmember Shook. Councilmember Winslow.
Present.
Councilmember Shepard.
Present. All right, thank you very much. With that, we do have a quorum, so I will call the meeting to order. I would like for Mr. Evans to read our remote meeting opening statement, please.
This City Utilities Committee is being conducted remotely as advertised and is in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by the following conference bridge, toll-free access, 877-579-6743, conference ID 831-599-1256, which is noted in the May 22, 2020 public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on citycouncil.atlanta.ga.gov or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council City Utilities Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available May 22, 2020 via atlantacitygA.iqm2.com. The public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6057 up to 1 hour prior to this meeting. These comments will be played during the public comment portion of this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and to minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation. Over to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Now moving on to C, and I would like to also ask if we have any members of the administration on the line. I'd like to know who's on the line with us now, please. Is anyone on the line from Watershed, Public Works, Law Department?
Mohammed Bala is on the line from Watershed.
Thank you.
Carl Christie.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Kristen Wong from the Law Department.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson? All right. Well,
It's also Roger Vandari from the Law Department.
Maisha Rand is on the call from Watershed.
thank you, brother. Okay. All right. Well, we will move on with. Thank you all for being here on our virtual meeting platform. The next item is the adoption of the agenda. This will be a voice vote. I will entertain a motion for the adoption or not.
So moved, Matsakite.
Thank you. Matsakite made the motion to move. I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right. Thank you very much. Same for approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval, Winslow.
Thank you.
Second, Matsakite.
Thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great. Those two items are now approved or adopted. Now we are to section E, public comment. I understand we do have several members of the public who have called in. We're ready now to hear those recorded statements or questions.
My name is J.B. Hocker Smith, resident of the city of Atlanta. On March 23rd, 2020, President Trump announced a coast-to-coast 180-day 5G infrastructure install. Verizon and AT&T confessed at a U.S. Senate hearing last year conducted by Senator Blumenthal they have no idea what the impact will be to human health exposed to this type of radiation 24/7. NFCC currently qualifies RF standards that are over 20 years old. Our current 4G devices produce RF radiation in the 6 gigahertz range. At 60 gigahertz, oxygen molecules oscillate. This causes oxygen deprivation to our cells and thereby compromise our immune system, particularly the elderly and middle. Small cell 5G antenna give off continuous RF radiation of over 100 gigahertz and are placed every 500 feet in our front yards. Prenatal, newborn infants, and children have a thinner skull cap and are therefore the most susceptible targets for the following: headaches, fatigue, palpitations, cancer, narcolepsy, autism, ADD, and anxiety. 5G antennas use full nuclear RF tubes that were designed by the military years ago to travel control devices. City of Atlanta district residents asked me commissioners fulfill their oaths and to knowingly defend and protect our residents, avoiding fear, favor, protection, and reward. Residents of the City of Atlanta call for a special council meeting this week, but another 2-week stall is not accepted. This appeal is for one of the most important, if not the most important, in Atlanta's history. Honorable Felicia Moore is aware of this district's residential appeal to ban placement of 5G RF antennas. Considering President Moore has informed she will vote on such measures in the event of a tie from city utilities members, the prenatal, the newborn infants, and the children in the City of Atlanta are pleading. It's time to vote.
Yes, good afternoon. I am Susie Stucco, and my comments are about the dangerous 5G antennas that are being hoisted upon the public at an unprecedented pace. 5G technology has been proven unsafe. The Children's Health Defense Organization, run by Robert Kennedy, is quite opposed to the dangerous 5G antennas. They're a real disaster and an apocalyptic catastrophe for the planet. There are satellites being right now deployed at space with Moss, and they're very dangerous. They are going to be radiating 24/7, very, very high levels of radiation. The fiber optic cables that are not even being placed underground are going to have 5G running through them. Antennas are supposed to go up in your neighborhood every 100 to 200 feet. These antennas are high-grade, military-grade radiation. There is no truth about their safety. They've been proven unsafe. There are going to be millions, literally millions of antennas everywhere. They're going to go up in your backyard, on top of your house, on top of cars, everywhere. Super dangerous. They do cause cancer. There are many studies out there. So if you look up Dr. Joel Moskowitz of Berkeley, he can also forward you many studies about the dangers of 5G technology. The National Institutes of Health study. There's the Ramazzini Institute study. There's the Cancer Epidemiology Update. The Reproductive Health studies. Mill Valley, California stopped it. Portland, Oregon, King, New York. They're not aesthetically pleasing, so that's one they're not doing it. Cities are declining applications. The FCC has no jurisdiction here, and the cities that I mentioned to you are suing the FCC. You can do this too. They're dangerous. All of this wireless and Wi-Fi causes cancer. It's documented. 5G has been proven unsafe. You have to stop the antennas. You have to stop and halt the installation process. You can't let 5G be deployed in your city or in Georgia. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Johnson, longtime resident of the great city of Atlanta. I am asking you to oppose any and all actions that promote the 5G wireless utilities. 5G is being forced on us at a scale unprecedented, and its proof of safety is not proven. 4G, 5G antennas densely installed in communities and thousands of satellites transmitting from space will pollute our pristine areas and increase levels of radiation in the already saturated city of Atlanta. Depends on even Earth's magnetic field for navigation, migration, and food. Ample peer-reviewed scientists show that this artificial radiation is disrupting natural processes, including our own. Cell towers may alter soil in a way to cause soil infertility and reduce crop yield. Insurance company risk assessments have led to universal exclusion of wireless health claims. Who will pay when we are all ill from them? Wireless investments need direct resources and fund their investments in reliable communications. Wireless communications perform poorly. Wireless, especially 5G, maybe 4 times the power. Technology. In addition to millions of new antennas and tens of thousands of satellites to connect every event on Earth, will astonishingly increase our energy footprint right when we're trying to reduce it. The lies are now collected and manipulated and targeted for marketing, political aims, and even criminal intent. 5G will expand this wireless use for artificial intelligence and precise tracking. Our society faces unprecedented cultural and security risks as they're putting these 5G up everywhere. Automating our lives has led to antisocial trends and digital addiction. Nobody could put down their cell phone now. We need alternatives to a single-minded investment in technology. Extraordinary actions must be taken. Please heed the first-person accounts of harm and scientific warnings and development solutions that respect science, democracy, humanity, and the world. Even if wireless is huge taxpayer investments in the corporate 5G needs to stop. We need to make sure that this 5G expansion stops. Use current. Hello, Atlanta City Council. This is George Satterfield, and I'm addressing 5G. Many of you have heard that 5G is very controversial. Well, it should be, because it's at the same frequency as the crowd dispersal weapon. It's a very dangerous technology that's being installed, especially it's been installed very fast during the quarantine and the lockdown. So people are not making too much noise about the very dangerous 5G terrible technology. I have researched 5G for years. 5G has a type of dangerous millimeter waves not compatible with the human body. These are at the same frequency, like I said, as the municipal police crowd dispersal weapon. Why in the world would we want 5G towers and sub-towers all around us when it's at the same frequency as the crowd dispersal weapon? So many parents are against 5G because some kids came down with cancer after 5G was installed near their classrooms. 5G was beta tested example, in England, concert goers ended up getting nosebleeds and migraine headaches galore, which were attributed to the 5G festival. Many people in the U.S. federal government even know that 5G is not good for humans, and that is why they, the criminal global elite, were so busy installing 5G while we were on lockdown. 5G is extraordinarily controversial all around the world. I highly suggest that none of you in the city council buy expensive 5G cell phones because you will be harming yourself with 4G. Also, 5G cell phone technology, it messes up birds' guidance system, and it screws around with the herbs, bees that make honey. I know we're all fond of bees and birds. The huge problem is, though, that even when we do not buy 5G cell phones, we are still going to be 5G towers and sub-towers. And some people call that, and being zapped by all of that is called electromagnetic pollution. Please halt 5G. Thank you very much. Stuart Satterfield, Atlanta, on Facebook. Greetings to you, committee members and staff. A special greetings to you, citizens of Atlanta, who have tuned in to see and hear what our city council members are doing for us. Ben Howard, senior advocate, public policy analyst. I speak in favor of Resolution 20-R-3426, directing the Office of Resilience to establish a food waste diversion and prevention pilot program for the purpose of reducing and reusing food waste. Thanks for keeping an eye on the food situation in the communities of our city. Kudos are also due to Edith Latipo and Sadie Potter, who, working with the local community organization, have distributed food to senior citizens and others in senior zones and elsewhere along the Campbellton Road and Cascade Road corridors. Kudos are also due to Quality Living Services management and staff for ensuring that senior citizens within their purview receive food items and hot meals, along with caring services and security. Meanwhile, sitting comfortably on the sideline until the next 60-minute NPUR meeting on Wednesday, June 3rd, posing as leaders are the NPUR 9. Anthony Robinson, Phyllis Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Jeanette L. Scott, Allison Hathaway, Sherry Williams, Alfred White, and NPUR 9 cohorts.
Does that conclude the public comment?
Yes, it does.
All right, thank you. Moving to the consent agenda, Mr. Evans.
Item number 1, 20-01369. An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into Amendment number 4 with Western Summit Constructors, Inc. for FC 8744A major mechanical repairs and services on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $1,850,000 to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period not to exceed 6 months in accordance with Section 2-1163 of Article 10 Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. Item number 2, 20-01370. An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into Amendment number 2 for FC 8744B annual contract for major mechanical repairs and services with Lakeshore Engineering, LLC, for repairing major processes and facility equipment on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $1,850,000. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes. Item number 3, 20-0-1371, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to apply for and accept a grant from the Georgia Department of Transportation for drainage improvements and related activities, to amend the FY 2020 Intergovernmental Grant Fund budget in the amount of $420,000 to anticipate and appropriate grant funds from the Georgia Department of Transportation, to provide for matching funds from the Department of Watershed Management in the amount of $180,000, to provide an additional owner-controlled contingency in an amount not to exceed $100,000 and for other purposes. Item number 4, 20-0-1372, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee to fix the schedule for monthly water and sewer rates and charges for the City of Atlanta, Georgia, as authorized by Chapter 154, Article 3, Division 3, Sections 154-111 and 154-112, and Chapter 154, Article 5, Division 3, Sections 154-276 and 154-277 for the time period beginning July 1st, 2020 and terminating June 30th, 2024, as to which there will be no increase, and pursuant to Atlanta City Code, Chapter 154, Article 3, Division 3, Sections 111 and 112, to set a separate rate for customers with meters or devices that have been granted exemptions from the sewer service charge pursuant to Atlanta City Code, Chapter 154, Article 5, Division 3, Section 277, Subsection E, to encourage conservation of water resources and to contribute to the city's Department of Watershed Management a portion of revenues generated from the city's special 1% sales and use tax to all types of water and sewer projects and costs as defined in OCGA 48-8-204 and for other purposes.
All right. Thank you. Those are accepted by the committee by virtue of having read. Thank you very much. I wanted to go back, please, to public comment, and just for the public to know that 5G is governed by state law, and there are also federal rules and regulations that govern that, and so the City Council does not have purview over that particular area of the law. Thank you very much. All right, now we can go on to Section G of the agenda, ordinances for second reading.
Item number 5, 20-0-1341, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute Amendment Agreement number 3 with Pratt Recycling, Inc. for FC 9383, recycling processing services in an amount not to exceed $983,168 on a month-to-month basis for up to 6 months, retroactively effective May 1st, 2020 to October 31st, 2020, in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes.
All right, thank you very much. I understand that the Commissioner, James Jackson, will speak.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir, we can. Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. The department is requesting this legislation so that we can increase the amount that we need to pay to Pratt Recycling. We were asking for an amount not to exceed $983,168 due to the fact that we experienced a rate increase during the latter portions of this contract from $25 to $75. We're also requesting a month-to-month extension to allow us to complete the contracting process. We experienced a slight delay in completing it because not all of the vendors were capable of actually processing processing our glass material. And we did find one who was, so we're actually working through this process now, and we anticipate that we will have this concluded by the end of this month-to-month extension that we're requesting.
All right. I am having some technical difficulties, so do we have any members who have signed up to speak to this or have any questions? If not,
Winslow, make the motion to approve.
second by Shepherd. Thank you very much. There's no further discussion. We are ready to vote.
The vote is open.
Brooks is a nay.
Oh, and I vote yes.
Madam Chair, I'm not in my system, so I know my second is considered to be a vote. I just want to let you all know I don't have access to my system this morning.
Thank you. Ms. Evans, does that conclude the vote? Does everyone voted?
One moment, please.
This is Matt Kite. I'm having difficulty with my system as well. I'll vote affirmative.
Thank you.
Councilmember Boone, how do you vote?
Yes, Boone.
Okay. Councilmember Hillis? Aye?
I voted yea.
That's 6 yeas and 1 nay.
All right. Thank you. That item stands approved. Now I want to ask a housekeeping question. Who's able to electronically vote? Mr. Hillis, can you?
I mean, I thought I did on my computer, but then I was asked what my vote was, so I'm not sure if it's coming through or not.
Ms. Evans, can you answer that question? Where are we in terms of
I think there's 3 council members logged into eBoardroom.
Okay, well, we're going to have to do a voice vote until we can figure out what's going on. I'm still logged out. I can't get into the system. All right, that item stands approved. Next item, please.
Item number 6, 20-01342, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to accept the name change of Big Belly Solar, Inc. to Big Belly Solar, LLC for FC 10127, Big Belly Maintenance and Repair Services. To extend the term of FC 10127, Big Belly Maintenance and Repair Services on a month-to-month basis for up to 12 months beginning May 3rd, 2020 through May 2nd, 2021, to enter into Amendment Agreement Number 1 with Big Belly Solar, LLC on behalf of the Department of Public Works to add additional funding to an amount not to exceed $85,000. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. I understand Commissioner Jackson is available to talk to us about this.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is a request. Big Belly, we've had an agreement with Big Belly, and the initial agreement was just with the company itself, Big Belly, but they've changed their name to Big Belly Solar. And the initial agreement was for them to maintain 160 units that we have deployed throughout the city, with the potential for another 240 units to be deployed at some time to be determined by the department. We have not made a decision to deploy the remaining 240 units. So what we're requesting is a name change from the former Big Belly to Big Belly Solar LLC, and to be able to pay them the amount that we owe them for the maintenance maintenance of these units that are deployed throughout the city.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any colleagues with any questions, please speak up.
This is Councilmember Matsakite. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
A question for the commissioner. I'd like to get his perspective on how well these big belly units are working. I see them in areas of my district, and they do not appear to be working. And so I'd just like to get his perspective on how well they're working and what the plan is moving forward.
Well, and thank you, Councilmember Matsakite. The units themselves, we actually have a 10-year agreement with this company, and the units themselves will perform so long as they are maintained. As you can see from the request, we have an $85,000 request to pay them. We have not been timely in our payment to them, and as a result, we've experienced some delays in actually ensuring that these units are maintained. They perform when we have a very strong maintenance and collection program in place, and that's what we were working to do. That's why we actually had the additional 240 units on standby to deploy once we fully identified the area that we were going to deploy them. But our biggest issue is we have to put them in areas where we could collect them as a separate unit so that we are maximizing the effectiveness of the electronic system that's contained with them that actually lets us know when it's time to service them. And what I mean by that is if we've got them deployed throughout various areas of the city, and they're intermingled with our current units that are not electronically maintained or do not have an electronic signature. Whenever we run a route, it is not our practice to pass by a unit that is on that route. And so if we have a big belly unit that's on the route with the rest of our units, which are Victor Stanley, it's going to get serviced, whether it has indicated that it needs to be serviced or not. So in that regard, we're really not in a position now to maximize the effectiveness of the electronic information system, which tells us that they are ready to be serviced. So in that regard, they are about as effective as they can be, given where and how we have deployed them, and our inability to actually deploy the remaining 240 of those units is probably as big a tale as any in terms of whether or not we're going to continue with them. But we still have 7 years remaining on the contract with them. So we have to continue servicing these 160 units throughout the remainder of this term, of which we have 7 years left.
So what does the contract obligate us to do over these next 7 years?
The contract obligates us to, it obligates Big Belly to maintain and provide services to us on the maintenance of the systems. We pay them for these contracted services on a quarterly basis. We are, and based on that, if they decide, if we decide that we want to remove them, we have to pay them for the units, make sure that the units are whole before we turn them back into them. So we really don't reap a big benefit from terminating the contract. If we terminate the contract right now, we have to pay them up for the full 10 years.
So it's $85,000 a year to service 160 units. Is that correct?
No, that amount is, hold on, let me take a look and see here. Okay. We have two different contracts. One is for maintenance and one is for advertising and connectivity. And what we're paying here is a combination of the maintenance and the advertising and connectivity of the system.
Commissioner, or did you drop out, or are you finished?
I'm here, council member.
So the $85,000, could you explain what that gets us and for how long and for how many trash cans that covers?
Yes, the $85,000 that we're paying here now is for the maintenance, and it ensures that they maintain the units when they're out on the when they're set out in their deployed areas, that they maintain the electronics within the system, and any replacement costs that are associated if we have units that are damaged or have been damaged, and we have had several units that have been damaged.
And this covers how many units?
160.
So we're paying over $500 a unit a year to make sure that they're maintained, that the trash cans are maintained.
The full. This is not the $85,000 that we're requesting now. Is hold on. I'm trying to get the answer to that for you. I don't believe that we're paying a full $85,000 a year per unit. The contract itself is. Hold on. I'm reading. I believe that number, I don't have it right here in front of me, but I'll get that information to you. But it's not a full $85,000 a year, council member. This is the money that we owe them in arrears.
Yeah, I'd like to understand how much it costs to maintain these big belly trash cans per unit per year. Because if you divide the 85,000 by 160, that's over $500 a unit, and I'm not sure what it actually saves us. It saves us.
Right.
It saves us as we go by. We don't have to pick it up. Maybe we don't pick it up every other time or something. I don't know what the savings is.
Right, and under ideal circumstances, if we had an area that was all big belly units, the likelihood is that the indicators, the electronic signals, will be telling us what the average requirement for service of those units is in that area. And we could base our schedule on that information. But as I briefly shared here a moment ago, these units are interspersed with our manual units, or our Victor Stanleys, which do not have the electronic transmitting capability, and it is not our practice to pass by containers on a route. And what that means is, whether they have indicated that they are ready to be serviced or not, we are going to provide the service to that unit as we run that route. Now, I will go back and say that what has happened here is we've experienced on an annual basis about $85,000 in damages and replacement costs, many of which have been due to units having been totaled out in their locations where they've been hit by cars or by other type incidents that have occurred. And the units themselves cost right at about $500 per unit to replace.
Okay, I mean, it's not clear to me that the way that we have a plan that we will that will be effective in helping us justify continuing to use the big belly units that have this high maintenance cost.
And I understand that, council member. This is one of those agreements that the administration inherited. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the agreement that is beneficial to us as a city. As I shared earlier, we looked at potential ways of actually improving upon this situation to make it more beneficial to the city. And there just isn't a clause in the contract that gives us that opportunity. For instance, if we decide that we no longer want to use these units, what we will end up doing is, one, making these units whole almost brand new for all intents and purposes, and then returning them to Big Belly. And in addition to that, continuing to pay out the advertising contract that was attached to it through another co-vendor, Green Cities. So at the end of the contract, whether we continue utilizing them for the full 10 years or not, we're going to have to pay the full amount of this 10-year agreement.
Yeah, I just, I really don't have enough information about how what the plan is to make this effective. I sympathize with you that right now this doesn't seem very helpful, and it seems like we're throwing good money after bad. And I just don't have a sense of what the plan is to get us to a place that would make this economical, because right now it doesn't seem like it's economical at all.
And you'd be right in that assessment, but we don't have an option.
Yeah. Well,
we have to continue to use them, and we have to continue with the agreement.
Yeah, I guess I'd like for us to maybe take a pause and see if we couldn't come up with a good way to come up with a plan of attack going forward. And it doesn't seem like that. You may have done that, but that's not what we're presented with here today. I'm just not supportive of moving forward on this. I'll turn it back over to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mazzucati. Your questions are similar to ones I've had offline. I would like to hear from the law department, and this is something that we have executive session, or if you need to have time to review the contract or the agreement and to respond to the issue of whether or not there is a clause that I thought was a standard clause in all agreements between the and any contractor that we have the convenience to get out of those contractual agreements. So I would like for someone in the law to research that and to get back to us.
Councilmember Archibald, this is Nina Hickson, and having the same question, and my usual attorney who is assigned to this particular division is not on the line. And so we will take the opportunity, because as you indicate, termination for convenience is a typical contractual clause in municipal contracts. So I will have to do the research to determine what the situation is here, but we will gladly do that.
Thank you very much, Hickson. With that, Mr. Mazzucati, are you making a motion that we continue to hold this?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to hold, please.
All right, now, Commissioner, where are we? You say we're behind with the payments. Was there some date change and where we are with all of that?
I'm sorry, you were garbled, Madam Chair, but I answered your question. We are behind in paying them on this agreement. Actually, to the questions that have been asked, part of this has had to do with our efforts to identify whether or not there was some way we could mitigate this contract in its current form. But listening to the city attorney, I'm comfortable with her having a conversation to find out exactly where we are, because in our efforts, we were not able to find that there was a clause that allowed us to terminate this contract.
So we're going to hold it, and we'll just, that's the table, and the reaction in terms of the if we're going to push it back a couple of more weeks and maybe even longer. I want you to react the way. Will service complete stop? Will there be some efforts made for your team to make sure it's overflowing? I mean, how are we going to next?
We will continue to monitor. We will continue to service the unit, Madam Chair. The primary issue is going to be with the company and their desire for payment.
Great. All right. Thank you. All right. So the motion before us is to hold this item. Any further discussion? Any questions? Second, Shepherd. Yeah, I think I seconded, so you can be third. So that's great. No, that's fine. That's good stuff. If there are no other questions or concerns, this will all have to be a voice vote. So,
May I do a roll call style?
that's a great idea, please.
Motion by Matsakite, seconded by Shepard, or by Archibong, rather. Councilmember Shepard is a yay. Councilmember Boone?
Yay.
Councilmember Hillis?
Yay.
Councilmember Shook?
Aye.
Councilmember Winslow? Councilmember Winslow?
Go on to Hillis.
Hillis is a yes. That's 6 yays and 1 away.
All right, so that stands approved. That item will be held. Now, I understand that we need to go back to the previous items. Evans, can you talk to us about that?
Yes, it needs to be amended to change the date that's in the caption from May 1st, 2020 to April 30th, 2020 for the effective date, the start date.
So this is XO-1342, item number 6.
Item number 5, 1341.
Okay, item number 5. Okay, thank you. So I'll consider for that purpose. I need a
Second, Matsakite.
thank you. This discussion, vote on the motion. Consider, please.
Councilmember Moon?
Yes.
Councilmember Hillis?
Yay.
Councilmember Shook?
Aye.
Councilmember Winslow? Councilmember Shepard?
Yay.
The tally is 6 yays, 1 away. Motion to reconsider is on the floor. Or 6.
Yes. Yes. And I make a motion to amend to change the date to, is it April 30th?
It is,
Second
yes,
by
ma'am, April 30th, 2020.
Okay, to October 31st, 2020.
Correct.
All right, and that's been seconded by whom?
Winslow.
Great, thank you very much. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion of the amendment to change the date to April 30th, 2020, opposed to the May 1st, 2020, reflected in the caption? All right, there's no other discussion. Let's vote on that amendment, please.
Councilmember Boone?
Yes.
Councilmember Hillis?
Yay.
Councilmember Matsakite?
Yes.
Councilmember Shook?
Aye.
Councilmember Shepard?
Yay.
The vote is unanimous.
All right, so the paper now is amended. I make a motion to approve as amended.
Second by Winslow.
Thank you. If there's no other discussion, we are ready for that roll call vote.
Councilmember Boone?
Yes.
Councilmember Hillis?
Yay.
Councilmember Matsakite?
Yes.
Councilmember Shook?
Nay.
Councilmember Shepard?
Yay.
That's 6 yays and 1 nay.
All right, that paper is approved as amended. And where are we on the agenda?
On to item number 8.
All right.
Item number 8, no, excuse me, that's item number 7, apologies.
Okay.
Item number 7, 20-1343, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2020 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of $846,700 to transfer funds from the Watershed Reserve for appropriations and add funds to the asphaltic concrete pavement milling and resurfacing project and for other purposes.
All right. department has asked this paper be held for one cycle, waiting for a consensus resolution.
Second. By Winslow.
All right, thank you. Any discussion or on readiness? If not, we're ready to vote on that motion.
All right. Councilmember Boone.
Yes.
Councilmember Hillis.
Yay.
Councilmember Matsakite.
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Shook.
Aye.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Yay.
That vote is unanimous.
All right, that item will be held. On to item number.
Yes, item number 8, 20-01344, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into renewal number 1 for Veolia Water North America South CAFRA Operations LLC JV for FC 7419, operation and maintenance service of the Atlanta Fulton County Water Treatment Plant on behalf of the City of Atlanta as a joint venture member of the Atlanta Fulton County Water Resources Commission and co-owner of the Atlanta Fulton County Water Treatment Plant effective April 1st, 2020, in accordance with Section 2-1163 of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
Department is here to speak about this case. You understand on the line?
You're kind of breaking up, Madam Chair. They may not be able to hear you.
I was asking if anyone from the department was on the line who could speak to us relative to this item.
Maisha Land should be unmuted now.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I was getting off of mute. My apologies. This particular piece of legislation is regard to care and conserve.
Well, no, this one is the before care and conserve. I thought that might be an error. Is Quentin Fletcher able to speak to the Veolia Water North America and CAFRA JV? This is relative to the Atlanta Fulton County Water Treatment Plant.
Good morning, Quentin Fletcher, Department of Watershed Management. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This legislation is to renew FC 7419 for operation and maintenance service agreement with Veolia Water. It is favorable by the Atlanta Fulton County Water Resource Commission. The City of Atlanta and Fulton County jointly owns and sharing the operation and maintenance costs of the Tom Lowe Atlanta Fulton County Water Treatment Plant through the joint venture partnership with the Atlanta Fulton County Water Resource Commission. The original terms of this agreement was for 5 years with 1 5-year renewal option.
So the notes that I have say that the agreement expired on March 31st. Is that correct? So we're backdating this to April 1st, 2020.
Yes, Madam Chair.
And then the desire is to move forward for an additional 5 years.
That is correct.
All right.
Moves approval.
All right. Thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure we were clear. Mr. Shook has moved approval. I'll second that. Is there any other question or discussion? If not, Ms. Evans, please do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Boone?
Yes.
Councilmember Hillis?
Yay.
Councilmember Matsakite?
Yes.
Councilmember Winslow?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Yay.
Councilmember Hillis, was that a yay or a nay?
Yay.
Yay, okay, thank you. This vote is unanimous.
All right, thank you. That moves forward.
Thank you.
Let's go. Yes, thank you, sir. Let's go to item 9, please.
20-0-1345, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to establish such grant project and award numbers associated with the Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund budget for the purpose of cost encumbrances for grant agreement activities associated with the Department of Watershed Management's Care and Conserve program and for other purposes.
All right, Ms. Land, are you on the line?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, ma'am, I am.
Good morning.
Maisha Land, Affordability Manager for the Department of Watershed Management. This piece of legislation allows us to encumber the current funds that are sitting in the budget in the Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund for Care and Conserve for the purposes of our Care and Conserve plumbing repair program. Every year when this money is allocated via the budget process, of course, you know, whatever is not used is then lost or put back into the pot. This particular piece of legislation allows us, one, to not have to transfer the money from the Care and Conserve program from this particular fund, 5052, into our grant fund as we have to do every year. And it allows us to also spend from this particular account, which we're not able to do currently for the purposes of our Care and Conserve plumbing repair program. The legislation also establishes that we'll be able to keep this money encumbered and staying in this particular budget section for every budget year following after this. It also amends the current legislation that we have for plumbing repairs for the two entities that received plumbing repair grants from the Department of Watershed Management, the Nehemiah Project in the amount of $1.2 million, and South Face in the amount of $925,000 for allowing us to pay from this particular fund because the current legislation has them being paid from the trust fund.
So this is going to make for a more efficient financing and running of this Care and Conserve program.
It absolutely will, and it will for certain reasons, Councilmember Archibald. The first reason is that in the Care and Conserve Trust Fund, we have to transfer that money to that fund in order to spend anything. This keeps us from having to go through this particular process every year. In addition to that, the trust fund requires a purchase order in order to spend from that, and there's been some very much some difficulty in acquiring trust funds for the purposes of grant agreements that are not federally issued. So this will quell that and allow us to actually implement our program according to the code for the Care and Conserve Code section without having to go through that, but still having the fiscal encumbrance and responsibilities and making sure that we're transparent in our spending and not overspending the project.
And the two entities that you said that are implementing the plumbing repair, South Face, and what was the other one?
The Nehemiah Project CDC.
That's right.
So yes, ma'am. The Nehemiah Project CDC has our major plumbing program. We have listened to what has been taking place with the previous nonprofits and the things that they're running into in the field. So the major repair contract for the Nehemiah Project will be for approximately 126 houses, and the Nehemiah Project will be able to repair households outside of the city, which is water repairs only, from $0 to $5,000. But inside of the city, the Nehemiah Project will be able to make repairs from anywhere from $0 to $10,000 without previous approval from the Department of Watershed Management. We had a lot of galvanized pipe in our older homes, and we're finding that the issues with the leaks and also just not being able to get fresh water in the home because of the coagulated pipe has been an issue that we've run into time and time again. South Face will have a minor repair contract, which will be 150 homes. And the ceiling for that is households outside of Atlanta will be $3,000 for water repairs only. And then inside the city of Atlanta for water and sewer repairs, up to $5,000.
So when you say outside the city, you're saying our customers that we are servicing that are not City of Atlanta.
That's correct. So we have retail customers that are not inside of the city of Atlanta that receive water services only. Those customers are not eligible for any type of sewer repairs, but that would be unincorporated Fulton County, Chattahoochee Hills, the city of South Fulton, persons who qualify for that in Sandy Springs, those direct service areas that the customer receives a bill directly from the City of Atlanta Department of Watershed Management for single household families.
Thank you. This is one of my favorite initiatives of the Watershed Management Department.
Hillis.